We know the union representing those 45,000 striking U.S. dock workers at ports up and down the eastern seaboard and the Gulf Coast. Well, they have reached a deal with the U.S. Maritime Alliance to suspend their strike until January the 15th to provide time to negotiate a new contract. That's according to a person briefed on the matter to Fox here. So the strike is over for now. There's this 90-day window for talks to continue. This is tentative at the moment here. If talks break down past January 15th, presumably the strike will go into effect. But they have bought them.
Pause. Welcome on into another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. Grab your pots and pans. It's time to cook. Don't forget the spatula. Now, for some reason, Kamala Harris had one hell of agreement. She settled faster than Cassie did with Diddy. Smash that like button if you agree. Tell a friend and tell a friend. She settled fast and in a hurry. The Biden administration faster than Diddy did with Cassie. Repeat, than Diddy did with Cassie. Now they had this temporary agreement, keyword temporary, until January 15th. So that's a bit after election time. Because if she didn't agree to the term, this would have been the last straw. Let me repeat. This would have been the last straw. They agreed to not the 77% wage increase that they wanted. They agreed to 62%, right? Which is still good to me. Because if they stop the dock supply chain demand schematics, it's over. It's over for the United States. Can you say hyperinflation? Can you say hyperinflation? Smash that like button, tell a friend and tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. We have a few topics that we're going to go over today. This is the first one right here. Let's continue.
Themselves time here. The union, remember, the International Longshoremen's Association, will resume working immediately, at least until January the 15th. The agreement will allow both the union and the U.S. Maritime Alliance, which represents both the shippers and the ports here, time to negotiate a new 6-year contract. So the person to the Associated Press also said both sides reached agreement on wage increases, but details were not available here. Fox Business, though, does have the details. If no full deal is reached by then, by January the 15th, the offer that is on the table right now, that offer is a 62% wage increase. That hike will be pulled from the table if in the interim they cannot still agree on this here. This is a conditional offer. It's been made to the ILA. The ILA has accepted this right now, 62% wage increase here. Not entirely sure if they have agreed or not on some of these other concerns these dock workers had, like the threat of automation to their jobs, also some with regard to their retirement plans as well. This is what we know right now. The deal reached only matters right now with their base pay, with their wages, and they're getting a 62% hike. It's on the table, that offer, for the next 90 days here. In the meantime, we are getting in right now a joint statement in from both parties. Let's take that here. All right, so this is what they say. This is a joint statement between the ILA and the Maritime Alliance, quote, that the International Longshoremen's Association and the United States Maritime Alliance Limited have reached a tentative agreement on wages and have agreed to extend the master contract until January 15th,
we can read it ourselves. Pause. We can read it ourselves. The International Longshoremen's Association and United States Maritime Alliance, LTD, have reached a tentative agreement. Man, they so good with words, ain't they? A tentative agreement on wages, meaning temporary, meaning not a definite answer, meaning things can change. It's subjected to change. Tentative agreement on wages and have agreed to extend the master contract until January 15th, 2025 to return to the bargaining table to negotiate all other outstanding issues. Effective immediately, all current job actions will cease and all work covered by the master contract will resume. So when the union boss threatened them and say it will cripple the United States of America, I think the United States of America finally woke up and said, you know what? It will strangle us. We're already struggling as it is. We can't control the migrants, right? We can hardly control the inflation, right? Your wages isn't going up, but the goods and services is, which means that it's back to slavery, digital slavery, work labor slavery, whatever you want it to be, right? It's back to that. So I think this is a good thing for the United States of America. Now, the thing I don't like about it is this temporary or this tentative word. I don't like the temporary thing because you telling me after the election, what if they say, oh, you know what? We thought about it. The shareholders and the company said, you know what? We will not eliminate the AI because they didn't totally agree to everything. They wanted 77% and you gave them 62. Still an increase, but yet it's not what they wanted. Well, that's what negotiation is. What about the AI though? What about them replacing? What about them replacing the workers with the AI machines and everything else? That will drive the profit margin up as far as from a business outlook, but far as from an employee outlook from the labor market, that will actually crush the labor market. Can we talk about it? I just want to talk about it, but let's continue.
2025 to return to the bargaining table to negotiate all other outstanding issues. Effective immediately, all current job actions will cease and all work covered by the master contract will resume here. So this was about a 3.5-day strike here. We've covered a lot of union strikes here at Live Now. This one, not very long at all here. We do have live pictures. I believe this is in Red Hook in Brooklyn at the moment, a live picture there. And you can see it looks like some of these striking dock workers who are no longer striking, waving the American flag. You see there our friend Fox's Connor Hansen. He's on the scene there in Red Hook in Brooklyn. Of course, we know the largest port on the East Coast. That's the port of New York and New Jersey here. We've been showing you some of these scenes throughout the last 3.5 days here. So this is happening very, very fast. Just happened within the last 30 minutes here. Let's put up some of these tweets. The Associated Press has it that the union representing 45,000 striking U.S. dock workers at East and Gulf Coast ports has reached a deal to suspend their strike until January the 15th to provide time to negotiate a new contract. Now, this doesn't mean this is over by any means. All it means is that these dock workers, they will get back on the job while the parties that represent them, the union that represents them, led by the ILA president, Harold Daggett, he will be back at the table with the U.S. Maritime Alliance here. Now, the ILA this morning put out quite a testy, tense, long statement on their Facebook page, really criticizing members of the media. There was a piece in the New York Post just yesterday kind of detailing, outlining some of Harold Daggett's lavish expenditure.
Pause. The union representing 45,000 striking U.S. dock workers at East and Gulf Coast ports has reached a deal. Okay. We just talked about that. I think it was very strategic. I think it was perfect timing, right? I think that the fact that it's election season, he actually needs a standing ovation for actually getting this contract. Now, though it's a temp contract, right? Just like temp work, it doesn't mean that it's forever. They still have somewhat of an increase, right? They still get their wage. And to me, they're needed in order to make society and everyday life, right? Now, let's go on to the next subject matter. We're going to go into the next subject matter and this one right here. But before I do that, Don't forget to, I have some affiliate marketing links at the top of the pin to the top of the chat. You can email me for whatever subject matters you want me to talk about. That's healthydiscussions@yahoo.com. I have my Cash App there and my PayPal as well if you're feeling generous. But one thing I really ask for is for you to smash that like button, tell a friend and tell a friend, meaning share this content. This is the beginning. This is not the end. And subscribe to the channel for any futuristic updates. That's all I ask. Now, we talked about the dock workers. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty about FEMA and about the storm Helena. Now, if you're in the United States of America on the East Coast, we haven't seen the sun in about 7 days. Let me repeat. I haven't seen the sun in about 7 days. It's been gloomy. It's been raining. And though I'm upstate, we didn't get affected as much. The people that was actually in the eye of the storm, they're telling them that they're only receiving $750 while they sending $800 trillion to Ukraine. I don't understand how the United States can make it their priority to take responsibility for overseas, right? Which means outside of the United States. But when it comes time for matters in the United States, it's crickets. It's a moment of silence. No one shows. Why is that? When you're using the taxpayer and the people dollars to send money overseas, why can't you use the taxpayer dollars to uplift the people that needs help, that's affected by Helena? That's one hell of a situation. Can we talk about it? I just want to talk about it. Watch this. Watch this. Let me see. Let me know if you guys can see the screen. Put a 1 in the chat if you can see the screen. Some people say they can't see the screen yet. Put a 1 in the chat if you can see the screen. Okay. We got to make the screen bigger, of course. No diddy. We must make the screen bigger, of course. No diddy. So let's get into it. Let's get into it.
FEMA funding right after the devastation of Hurricane Helene. Listen.
We are meeting the immediate
They are meeting the immediate
needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
This all comes as the Biden-Harris administration spent over $1 billion from a FEMA program on services for migrants. Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Ashley Moody, joins me now. AG Moody, why does the Biden-Harris administration always seem to help American taxpayers last?
Let's run this back again because it was some form of technical interruption. Let's run this back over again. Let's run this back over again.
Funding right after the devastation of Hurricane Helene. Listen.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
This all comes as the Biden-Harris administration.
Hold on. What do you mean, right? What do y'all mean y'all don't have the funds in order to pay for the victims that was affected in Helena? FEMA doesn't have money. You guys are part of the government, part of the elite. You guys print the money. You're telling me your machine is off? I don't get it. I never understood that. And why the United States citizens must suffer while you have the people overseas that's getting all the money? Why is that? Can anyone answer that question? Smash that like button, tell a friend and tell a friend. Can anyone answer that question in the chat?
Spent over $1 billion from a FEMA program on services for migrants. Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Ashley Moody, joins me now. AG Moody, why does the Biden-Harris administration always seem to help American taxpayers last?
Great
Good morning,
question.
Todd. Yeah, everyone should be waking up this morning outraged by that comment. This is not something that has just happened recently, and Florida's been warning about this since this administration took over. Mayorkas has come in like a virus and infected these what need to be healthy, strong, fundamental programs to ensure the stability and safety of Americans in times of disaster. So you heard they have taken the FEMA emergency food and shelter program and over time siphoned off hundreds of millions of dollars into basically making it an illegal immigrant resettlement program. And so when you see these states and cities around the nation declaring emergencies, even blue states, because of what this administration has done, encouraging more and more and more, developing programs to encourage more and more and more people to come here, the government, Biden and Harris, are having.
Pause. This has to be embarrassing. I don't think the Democrats can catch a break. This has to be embarrassing. I don't think the Democrats could catch a break. Kamala is under the hot seat from all these news stations that's giving her prep questions and that's not following the rules or anything along that nature. That's why we must understand politics. I'm not saying that you have total control of what's going on in politics, because we know once you get elected or selected, things that you're being told what to do. But on a state level, you do affect politics, right? So it's good to know what's going on and to know how to, let's just say, stage your portfolio to benefit, whether it's red or blue. You should be the president of your family, right? But how do you run out of money, and how do you say you don't have any money, but yet you're sending trillions of dollars to Ukraine? They call that the laundromat for a reason, right? Because that's where they're doing the washing and rinsing of the money. Laundering the money. It's called a laundromat for a reason. Can we talk about it? Smash that like button, tell a friend and tell a friend.
To fund that on the backs of the American people. And now, right now, in Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, all of these states are hurting because of this truly natural disaster, not a Biden-Harris made disaster. They're saying we need more money. And of course they need more money because they've been laundering it from the true intended purpose of this fund that Congress set forth. Laws be damned.
There's two things going on here. We just touched upon the main thing, this horrific prioritization of migrants.
Ma'am, that was well said. She articulated herself quite well. I understood every word that she was saying. That's crazy to me. It's like the okie doke. It's like they're doing things right in front of your face as if no one's there. You telling me we have trillions of dollars. We're in trillions of dollars in debt. And you telling me that we can't cough up money for the American citizens that went through all these horrific things when Helena struck the earth, struck the East Coast? You telling me that we can't recognize that? What happened to patriotism, being a patriot? What happened to that? It seemed like America is losing its way. Can we talk about it? Let's continue.
Over American taxpayers. But there's also something else here. What does this say about the Biden-Harris administration's ability to just lead if they underfunded FEMA this much and we are?
Let me tell you why they have a problem with leading. And this is going back to the beginning of times. Men lead, women follow. You have a woman president, allegedly, hypothetically, that's running for some form of presidency. She's been backed by the machine. She's been backed by George Soros. She's been backed by Google, Microsoft. She's backed. She's backed, right? But just because you back don't mean you know what's going on in the world. Just because you're backed by the machine doesn't mean that the machine always wins. Because one thing I know for certain, two things I know for sure, she don't understand anything about economics. She don't understand anything about policy. What have she ran? How could she lead, right? How could she lead the United States of America when she's biologically, that's the word, biologically, she wasn't made for it. It's not in her biology. It's not in her makeup. It's not in her genetics. So why are you forcing her in a position that she really don't belong? Can we talk about it? How good would she be at this? That's what I want to know. I don't think she would be good at all. Now, I'm not saying Trump is the perfect candidate, but what I can say in today's time, he's perfect for right now. And that's it. Leave your thoughts down below. I want to know what you think about it.
Are not even close to being in the heart of hurricane season, which in reality is August, September, October, and November. AG Moody.
Look, this is what President Trump did so well while in office. He could get to a 30,000-foot level, look at the health of American agencies and programs, determine what the problems were, and enlist resources, talented individuals, and a strategy to put Americans and the safety and strength of this nation first. I've seen it work here in Florida with Governor DeSantis. We decide where our problems are, we set forth to fix them, and we make sure not only money, but the strategy and talented personnel are in place to fix them. So, for example, when you have a disaster like this, and you know when there's no electricity, instability, when there's people needing just the basics of life because of a disaster. I was with officers the other night, and we surged our resources in vulnerable areas to looting. We made sure officers knew what to look for when it was in complete darkness. Right. They knew what to charge. We make sure our state attorneys know to hold these people so they don't get back out and start ravaging these communities again. It takes proactive efforts, and you just do not see this out of this administration. And here, and the roosters are coming home to roost. Look at what's happening right now.
The Florida model
when
really,
we're in the middle of a disaster with this administration at the helm.
You're right. The Florida model really does need to be a 50-state solution. Just want to mention this. You all launched an anti-looting team in response to Hurricane Helene, coming as 8 migrant workers are arrested in Tennessee, accused of stealing from flooded buildings. You guys do it right down there. I would just add, only a depraved person steals from someone in their time of need. AG Ashley.
And you know, that's facts. That's facts. That's crazy to me. She had all my viewpoints. All my viewpoints. This is embarrassing to the Democratic Party. But let's look at Kamala explain, because just look at her explain it, because I don't think she even understands what she's doing. She's reading off the script too hard. She's reading off the script too hard. She don't understand that the people are obviously seeing right through you. Literally. The people are seeing right through you. But watch this, because Kamala, you don't get it.
The local leaders were together creating a task force-like response, knowing that we are at our best when we work together and coordinate resources, coordinate our communications to the maximum effect for the community that has been.
Man, what are you coordinating? How are you working together? You're literally standing on the podium lying to people. You're telling people they only get $750 for everything that they've been through. They need it. They need they need the infrastructure rebuilt. They need food. They need clean water. They need shelter. They need all these things. You said $750 is going to do the job? Think about what you say before you say it, Kamala. Once again, think about what you say before you say it, Kamala.
Impacted. And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And
$750? That's despicable. When you're sending trillions of dollars to Ukraine, this is horrendous. We all should be appalled and all should be in an uproar right now. Just as people, because I'm sure the people are tired of it. And as soon as the migrants learn how to speak English, I'm sure they're going to be tired of it too. Once they understand that they're in for the okie doke as well. They plan on y'all to play on the people that's already here. Then what? What happens when they begin to communicate and say, you know what? We're not the problem. You're not the problem. The problem is up there. That's the problem. The problem is the policy. The problem is the government. The problem is the overseers. That's obviously the issue. They're running a clown show, all puppeteers. And Kamala is one hell of a puppet.
And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who do not have electricity. But also that aid, if you have electricity, can be applied for online. And I encourage people to do that. FEMA will just basically verify your address, and then the process should take hold. FEMA is also providing tens of thousands more dollars for folks to help them be able to deal with home repair, to be able to cover a deductible when and if they have insurance, and also hotel costs. Today, I'm also announcing that the president has approved the governor's request for 100% federal reimbursement of local costs.
I mean, you're going to have no choice, but you're still giving those people 0 to nothing. You're still giving these people 0 to nothing. They need more than that. Let me repeat. These people need more than that. Smash that like button. Tell a friend and tell a friend. This is the beginning. This is not the end. Another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. Don't forget to hit the links down below. Hit the links down below. Don't forget to hit the links down below. And remember, positivity over negativity always.